Hi, I'm Jennifer from Shabby Fabrics. Welcome to the February Table Glitz. This has been a really exciting series. Customers are absolutely loving this. If you are not familiar with this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We already have November, December, and January videos recorded. We have kits available as well, so if you want to do the Table Glitz series in our exact same fabrics, we have those available for you, or you can use your own fabrics. For, of course, February, we chose hearts in pink and red, and we do have a beautiful scallop. Let me just show you the placemat. Has a pretty scallop around it. This, of course, would be laser cut if you're buying the kit, pre-fused and laser cut for you. So you're not having to cut out those eyelets, because those are definitely an inside cut, a little more intricate to cut. And then for our coasters, we have just this cute little inside heart that has a pretty scallops, and of course the heart cut out again in the middle. So to get started, you'll need the download, of course. You can click in the link below to download, jump you over to where the download is, or you can go to the Shabby Fabrics homepage. At the very bottom, there's a link that says free downloads. Click that and you'll be looking for the Table Glitz for February. Once you have your diagrams printed, you'll tape them together. You'll have one for your placemat and another one for your coaster. And this is where, first thing we want to do is, I'm going to go ahead and trace out the hearts first, and then we will do the inner portion of our, the white portion. So fabric, go ahead and turn your fabric right sides together. And if you've done the other Table Glitz videos, this is not too much new here. Pretty much the same thing. And you'll get your pattern. This is where I like to just orient that. So I'm going to maximize my fabric, because I love keeping fabric like leftover pieces. That's how scrap quilts happen, or scrap projects of any kind. So you'll just give that a pin all the way around and simply cut that out directly on that line. And you'll do that. That's your front and your back. Once that's done, I'm going to put that aside. You'll place those right sides together, and here's some fusible fleece. Soft on the one side, bumpy, it has a grip on the other. You can use batting if you want to do that. You'll just need to pin. I like to use a fusible batting, because then I can just fuse that to the back of my hearts, and I don't have to worry about any pins, because sometimes they poke me. So definitely been poked with plenty of pins before. So once the two hearts are cut out, I just lay that, just pretend like the white's not here. I just lay that on there, just like this. You could even iron that down now with your iron. Go ahead and just iron that down, and then just roughly cut around. That's how we've gotten to this point here. So let me get that out of the way. As before, you're going to decide on where you want to leave that opening. And I have this right on the side. I'm going to use my little Shabby. I love this little ruler, 2.5 by 6.5. Sometimes rulers, I'm thinking, I'm never going to use this ruler. I use this ruler all the time. It's small, convenient, compact, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, which I love. And we decided to go ahead and leave a 5-inch opening. I just marked that where I begin and end, and we've already done that. And you'll just sew 1/4 inch all the way around. Now is when I love to use my Kai scissors. Especially on these points here, I need to get a nice clean cut, and I'm going to clip in. So in fact, I'm going to go ahead, for these portions out here, I love to use a rotary cutter. Sometimes using a rotary cutter, if you're confident and you feel like you have control, kind of expedites that process. As I get closer, though, to that V, I stop that. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And that's where the Kai scissors come in. I need a lot of control right in that V. And this is also where you might want to put some additional little snips in here. That way, when you do turn it through, it has a nice clean edge to it, and there isn't too much bulk. So then I just transition back to my rotary cutter. Or you can use your Kai scissors if you're uncomfortable using the rotary cutter. Do whatever works best for you. Now we get to turn it through. There's my opening. I'm going to use my point turner because I do have those points. I'm going to go ahead and trim that up just a little bit more at that point because I don't want bulk. I don't want that point to be rounded at the bottom. It's going to be slightly, but if I can snip in a little bit here and reduce the bulk, that will be minimized. Turn it through. The thing I love about the Table Glitz series is it's fun to dress up your table for each month. Some months in particular are harder to decorate than others. I think certain months like June, July, August, those aren't as easy to decorate for. Even Valentine's Day, this is a fun way, a fun and inexpensive way to dress up your table and just have a lot of fun with each season and enjoy each month for what it offers. So this is where I love to use that point turner because I can do a lot of that turning with my hands, but when it comes to those points, I just need that assistance of this tool. And right in there, and just smoothing the whole thing out. I'm going to go ahead and just give that a press. I want to press that through. Now, if I want to try to get that point a little bit better here. There we go. See, I couldn't really ever do that with my fingers. It's not going to happen. It's just a nice point. And you do want to be careful or you can definitely poke through the fabric. Now I'm going to turn this under 1/4 of an inch. I'm guessing at that 1/4 of an inch. But you can imagine you've got this line and you just want to connect those. So you'll just tuck that under. And this is where I love to use these Wonder Clips. They just help hold everything in place. And I find them way, way more effective than a pin because they hold, think of that. That is a good 3/8 of an inch wide, almost a 1/2 inch, versus a pin. A pin is only going to have that diameter, which is, boy, a 32nd of an inch. So you're able to hold this a lot more securely. And we would continue like that, and I'll just put another one in. But you're just trying to continue that visual line. And one more. So if you decide you want to sew that down now, you'll sew just inside that edge. Just inside the edge here, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe even slightly less, just to hold everything down. You can do that step now, and you'll be using your beautiful silky, beautiful metallic thread to do that, so you have a little bit of sparkle on there. Or you can wait until the very end, once you have this down as well, and then just do all the sewing all at the same time. So let's move on to the interior heart. That's the white. It's a beautiful fabric that we put in the kits. This is called Fairy Frost from Michael Miller. It's absolutely beautiful. And of course in the kits, this is already cut out for you. You wouldn't have to do the step that I'm going to be showing you now, but in case you are using your own fabrics, let me walk you through those steps. Let's get those out of the way for the moment. Don't need those. Actually, I'm going to need that pen, aren't I? Now this light box here from Daylight, I absolutely love. There's so many features about this that I just love. First off, when I touch it, it's going to come brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So depending on the intensity of light that you like, you can stop it for wherever it's best for your eyes. So I'm just going to turn that off. That was full bright, you saw. And there's also these measurements around there. So if you're trying to get very precise, it's also in inches as well as centimeters. You've got measurements on there. So I'm going to turn that on to about right there. I think that's probably about right for me. I'm going to go a little bit brighter. The other thing too is it remembers. Notice how I'm going to stop it right there, and when I turn it off and I turn it on, it remembers that setting, which is really incredible. There's a lot of light boxes on the market. This one's so smart. It remembers where I liked my light, and as long as I don't hold that, and if I turn it on brighter, now I turn it off and turn it back on, it will go to that same place. I think that's incredible, that just remembers that. So for my diagram, I'll be placing that over my light box, and I'm tracing, well, you see this part, I'm tracing this portion. So heat and bond light, I have my shape, and you'll simply trace around just as you would do any other. Didn't do that very well now, did I? I better slow down. Just trace around, all the way around, roughly cut around that shape, iron that to the back of your fabric, and then you'll roughly cut around. Then you cut exactly on the line to produce this. And again, these inside cuts are not easy to do. If you do this on your own, I would strongly suggest the Kai scissors, because they can get in there and get that accomplished for you. So that's how you do it if you are working with the light box. We are going to go ahead and go with our pre-fused laser cut kit today, because I want to jump into the fun portion of this. And of course, I'm having a great time already. The inside cuts aren't necessarily my favorite, but I'm excited to talk to you about the thread director today and this beautiful thread. So in your kit, if you're getting the kit, simply peel this away. And one thing I also want to mention is in our pre-fused laser cut kits, we use professional heat presses so that your heat and bond is on your fabric evenly. I don't know if you've ever experienced using the heat and bond with just a home iron, but sometimes when I've done that, I heat it unevenly. In some places it's better here than others, so we do use professional heat presses here, which gives you just a very professional look and result. So let me move that out of the way. I want to bring up my pressing mat here. Always challenges of space on camera. Of course, I have limited space. So you'll just position that wherever you want that to be, right in that middle, and iron it down on a medium heat. Now the fun thing about doing the applique this way versus, here I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me finish stitching this or ironing this down, then I'll show you what I was going to tell you. We went ahead and did ours exactly this way so that when we sewed it, we were quilting this at the same time. You could have gone ahead and ironed this heart, this white heart, to just one of the reds and stitched it down, but then it wouldn't have this quilted look. So we really do encourage you to do it in this sequence so that when we go now to the sewing machine and we're stitching around here, we're quilting it as well as securing that down. So it just has a really cute, and it's really cute on that side too. I love that. So this is the thread director. One of the things that I've learned about metallic threads is that, well, let me jump back. My experience with metallic thread is they break. I don't know if you've had that experience, but I've had that more than I have that it doesn't break. And I thought, you know what, I guess it's just not meant to be. I'm not supposed to use metallic threads because no matter what I do, they break. Well, what I learned about that is the way that I was putting on my machine was the problem. Most machines have a horizontal spool pin, or you can have a vertical spool pin. But because of the way that thread comes off of the spool, you still have a twisting motion. So if my thread is here, do you see how it's still coming off in this motion? Or if it's vertical, I'm in the same boat. It kind of has this twisting motion. The thread director here, what is so logical about it is the thread just comes off the way that it was wound onto the spool. Now that's a whole nother video. Go ahead and just at the end of this one, you'll be able to watch the thread director video to learn more about this. But ever since I've been using the thread director, I have not broken any thread. So now I'm totally excited about using metallic thread because it doesn't break. And I thought it was just me, and now it was just the way that it was coming off of that spool was already creating tension, and which is why it was breaking. So as I'm getting ready to sew, I have my metallic on the top. I have my sulky bobbin thread. That's what's in my bobbin. It's nice and light. It's a polyester. It works beautifully with the metallics. And you're just going to sew like you would sew anything else. And I'm going to sew just a straight stitch, kind of outlining that. And look how that thread just comes off of the thread director, like just a dream. There's no tangling, there's no breaking. It just performs, which for me has opened up an entire new world of thread. You're going to be seeing a lot of exciting threads happening here because now I know I can use them. And then I would simply, look at that, look at the sparkle. It's just fantastic. I just want to show you what that looks like. How sparkly it is and how pretty it is. And it just sews absolutely like a dream. And of course, we stitched around here, stitched around our scallops, we outlined our eyelets, and then we came back with our red thread and we sewed just that 1/8 of an inch. And then for the pink ones, we brought our pink thread in and did the same process around the edge and of course the scallops. So I'm excited about this thread director because for me it just opens up this whole new exciting world of thread. And I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the February table glitz.